In 2021, I used stats to pick out players like Mezzi and Flames before they joined Cloud9 and OG. So I figured I'd do the same in 2022 and see if we could find the next hot prospects to look out for. The method I use to pick out the hot prospects is by looking at the Challenger League stats and by looking at how much a player exceeds their teammates' average rating rather than just looking at the overall rating. This means if you're a standout player on a mediocre team, you will still be found with this metric. And the first player on the list is Soulfly. Soulfly is an 18-year-old Turkish aggressive rifler who put up a 1.13 rating compared to Sangal's team average of just 0.88. Something worth saying here is that MDL used to be a league which gave every team lots of maps played, but in the newer format, Sangal only played 5 maps. And honestly, that's such a small sample size that I don't know if I can say Soulfly is the best prospect to watch out for here. Either way, Sangal only won 1 out of those 5 maps, and that was thanks to Soulfly dropping 33 frags in a 16-8 win versus Movistar Riders. He attempted the 3rd most opening kills on T's side, so clearly an aggressive rifler, was ranked 4th for ADR, and 1st on the impact rating. Overall, he does look like a promising player, but with only those few maps played and Sangal being one of the lowest ranked teams here, I think he's still got a fair way to go before we can really see him break through. But he definitely looks like someone to watch out for. I always like watching for those up-and-coming aggressive riflers with that snappy aim, and who knows, maybe he could be a potential future Eternal Fire player, as Major already follows him on Twitter. The second player this stat picked out is Fasha, who has already got a move to a top-tier organization. Fasha is a 26-year-old Dutch rifler who puts up a 1.21 rating compared to Ecstatic's team's average of just a 0.99 rating. As I was teasing earlier, he has already been picked up by Fnatic, and he is the player I am most excited about on this list. I've been waiting for him to get a move like this for a while. In this Challenger League season, he had the highest ADR, the 2nd highest kills per round, and the 3rd highest impact rating. Ecstatic already played good fundamental CS, although Bird from Sky's low rating probably brings down his team's average a fair bit. Sorry, Bird from Sky, I know you got the big brains, but you're not got the big aim, sadly. As for Fasha, he has really good aim, was set up to trade a lot on this team, and makes really good decisions from what I've seen. In fact, he was given a lot of freedom on this Ecstatic team that generally were a little more structured, and I think that should translate really well when he plays onto Fnatic, as long as he is still given some of those star roles. I think that's what I like most about him, is he's got that combination of incredible aim that you're seeing in some of these clips, but he also knows when to make those right decisions and when to be a playmaker effectively in rounds. And it's also just a really cool story that he has been grinding for quite a long time. He's 26 years old, he's finally getting a shot on a team that you could argue are a little more well-known, and I'm excited to see what he does on Fnatic, who have a very well-rounded squad in terms of individual talent. The third player on the list is Stododo. Stododo is a 25-year-old Portuguese AWPer who put up a 1.17 rating compared to Soar's team average of a 0.99. Like Soulfly, this is another player with a very small sample size of only 6 maps played, and all of these maps were against AGO. And if you look at his overall rating when he was on Soar throughout 2022, he was actually only rated 4th highest on the team with a 1.02 rating. So even though I think Stododo is a decent player, the fact that he only played against AGO and only played 6 maps means that I don't know if I could really call him one of the hottest prospects here, especially considering he could have just had a really good matchup specifically against AGO. I will say though, he does have a goated Pistol Inferno strat named after him. If you know, you know. He definitely has a lot of raw skill, but he's had this for a while. He even dropped 35 against FaZe back in 2020. but I'm not sure if I'm ever going to see the consistency and improvement in decision making that I'd like to see out of him to break out of Tier 2. He has now left SOAR and joined FTW, who are going to be playing in Pro League, so we'll get to see if he can use some of those individual highs to try and carry his team to some map wins. But all in all, he really looks like a player to me who does have a lot of skill and a lot of flash about him. I don't know if I see the building blocks there I need to suggest that he can make that step up. There are two players tied for 4th. The first one is Forzy, who is a 20-year-old Czech AWPer who put up a 1.12 rating compared to Sinner's 0.97 team rating. Now, right off the bat, I have to say, Sinner's played 5 out of their 12 maps with their coach, Tom Keys, and in those maps, Tom Keys had a 0.64 rating. Having said that though, playing with a stand-in, even if he is your coach, is never going to be easy, especially for AWPers who want to stay on top of the economy so they can get that AWP as often as possible. And I remember being really worried when Sinners replaced Oscar, but Forzy looks like he is one of the next AWPers to watch out for. He definitely has fast reactions and is solid in the clutch. He was huge in their 2 wins versus Ecstatic, who I think were always a solid Tier 2 team, and he was basically the only player to help keep them competitive against Sprout. It's never easy to step up to the top level as an AWPer, and I still think Forzy needs to improve a little bit to get there. He doesn't quite look like a superstar at Tier 2 yet, which is normally what you need, but I think he's on the right trajectory, and he's definitely someone I wouldn't be surprised if we're seeing pop up in a couple of years from now. Sunpius was also tied for 4th alongside Forzy, and we've already seen what he can do. In case you don't know him, Sunpius is a 23-year-old Spanish AWPer who put up a 1.25 rating compared to Movistar Rider's average of a 1.10 rating. He was not only first in kills per round, but also had the 3rd lowest deaths per round and the 5th highest opening duel success in this Challenger League season. And in case you're out of the loop, it looks almost certain that he's going to get picked up by a top team, as ENCE are heavily rumored to be signing him. The biggest thing that stands out about Sunpius is definitely that he's just a very consistent AWPer. He almost always seems to land the solid shot, especially on CT's side when he's just holding angles. He's really good in those sorts of positions. And I will say it's definitely important for that kind of AWPer to know how to position himself well, which I think Sunpius can do, but I guess the true test of that will be when he joins ENCE. He's obviously already helped Movistar score some upsets and their deep run at Cologne, and as I've been saying, it looks almost certain that Sunpius is about to become sun-biased by ENCE. That's probably one of my worst jokes, but clearly, I think it's fair to say he's got what it takes. I think he should be solid. And even though we've already picked out 5 players, I think Sunpius was already pretty well known. So let's throw the 6th player in there as well, and that is going to be Maka. Maka is a 25-year-old French AWPer who put up a 1.31 rating versus Falcon's team average of a 1.18. He had the highest overall rating in this Challenger League season and is a fairly active AWPer in the way I feel like he likes to take a lot of fights. He was 1st in T-side rating, 2nd in ADR, and also 2nd in opening kills per round. He's a good AWPer at this level, but he has been for a while now, and I wonder if he's ever going to get that chance to break through. Especially in France, I don't see where his options would be, as ZywOo has got that AWPing position on lockdown. He is also one of these players who's been good at Tier 2 for a while, but I don't know if I've seen that progression over time that you're really looking for when you're looking for players who could maybe break out into the top level of play. But I'm certainly excited to see if he could prove me wrong, and I'm actually really excited to see what Falcons can do with the addition of MBK, who gives them a bit of that veteran savvy on the team. Thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed, and if you did, why not check out this video over here that YouTube thinks you'll like.